This is GunCranks.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, we're like a bad penny. We're back. It's the GunCranks. Yes, they tried to ship us off in an unmarked container to the Congo, and we came back. So here we are on YouTube. It's the GunCranks by popular demand, and we've got a great new show. We're going to change the format a little bit. We hope you really like it. Let us know. Guys, what do you want to talk about today?
I want to talk about conspiracy theories. I think I don't know about you, but I'm getting letters all over the place about the ammo shortage and gun shortage conspiracies. So I think we need to hit on that.
And I've got a
Good point.
chicken story I want to tell. And have our producer, Sherry, if you're listening, get your beeper ready.
I can't wait to see that. I'm frightened and horrified, but it'll be a good segment, no doubt. We've also got tips and tricks. We're going to talk about cleaning, and we're going to talk about some cool new gear. So, hey guys, let's get the GunCranks started.
Thank you.
On today's Inside Dope segment, we're going to talk about the ammo shortage. And you know what? It's your fault. I'm telling you,
No, it's
it is.
not.
It is.
It's a
Your
conspiracy.
fault.
It is your
It's
fault.
absolutely a
It's a
conspiracy.
conspiracy, and it's your fault.
It is. I hate to say this. We're the people our parents warned us about. I've said that many times, but I know there's probably 10% of shooters out there think there is a big conspiracy, and there's ammo warehouses filled to the brim with primers that they're holding back from us, and that ain't the case. That ain't the case.
Yep.
It's
Well,
simple
they're
capitalism.
not holding them back technically, because I've gotten all those letters. All that whole 10%, I have all of them. What they are is they're redirecting them to the United Nations Blue Helmet Squad,
That is it.
so
It's
they
really
can use
the
them
jack-
against us.
Yes, the
that's where they're
jackbooted thugs
going.
have them.
100%. Yep.
Because I was at a gun show, and there was a lot of guys wearing jack boots, and they were selling primers.
Wow. They diverted him
Just
from the
saying.
stream.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Wow. No,
Where do you
it,
get
All right,
jack
who-
boots anyway? I don't know.
You know, the Nazi stormtroopers. They
Yeah.
were the original jackbooted thugs. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they've got all the primers. So.
well, we have beat this dead horse many times. It's the horse is out in the pasture, laying there dead and decaying, but we keep beating it. Let's face it, with all the new gun owners, if every one of them bought one box of ammunition, we're talking 50 million extra rounds right there.
Yeah.
But it's more than that. You know, now we're seeing people complaining about the prices. It's capitalism, folks. It's real simple. Tom, you wrote a very impassioned and wonderful letter to a reader the other day, kind of explaining how that works. Go ahead and
Well, okay, but
paraphrase.
before we get into the capitalism part, because there's really two components, being serious for a minute. One is what we've heard from everybody, not just ammo manufacturers, but the gun makers and accessory makers. This COVID thing has just wrecked the incoming supply chains for all the raw materials, right?
Yeah.
So copper, brass, lead, whatever magic goop they put in primer sludge that goes in primers, you know, all of that stuff, the supply has just been cut back dramatically. And their capitalism does come into play there, because when the supply goes back, what happens?
Well,
Prices-
raw goods
hint,
costs have
prices
gone
go up. So
twice. Yeah. Raw
Yeah, they
goods
go up.
material costs has gone up almost 2 times in about the last 2 years.
Right. So you had a little bit of price increase at every stage throughout the supply chain, starting from literally the mines, you know, who are closed down and not working, and the shipping companies. You know, I know this to be true. My son's in the shipping business, and you know, there's been havoc in that. So
Well, talk
it's
about
economics.
talk about that side of it. Why the local retailer is charging 3 times what they used to sell the 9mm practice ammo for. It's simple capitalism.
Yeah. Well, that and the UN is in a conspiracy with them. The UN is sending stimmy checks
Yeah.
to retailers so they charge more.
Yeah.
So that the retailers will send the ammo to the UN Blue Helmet Brigade. to come in
let's
and
just-
attack us.
But let's just say it out loud. I said this to somebody the other day, and I said, we're insiders in the industry, okay?
Right.
So if there was a conspiracy, if federal ammo was keeping ammunition and causing a false shortage, if it was being funneled to the government or something like that, we would have to be part of the conspiracy. In other words, we would know. We would find out. And you know what we would do? We would tell everybody. And I'm here to tell you, as the three of us, and between us we have, I don't know what, 100 years in this industry? There is no conspiracy. The
Well, that's
shooters
just
are
you,
the
the
problem.
100 years,
Yeah,
I think,
that's
right?
just me. But shooters are the problem, you guys. You got to stop buying ammunition for a little while, and
Yeah.
the pipeline will fill back up again. It's as simple as that.
Well, to come back, and sorry, Brent, I went off the rails a little bit, but it might be the UN. But seriously, the bottom line is this: the price isn't what we think it should be. The price is what somebody will pay. And as long as there are buyers and
Bingo.
sellers that are agreeing to exchange a round of ammunition for $1 practice ammo, that's the price, Whether
That's
I
right.
think it should go back to the old level is absolutely 100% irrelevant. It's my opinion. I would like that. But as long as people are willing to pay $1, it's going to cost $1.
Well, stop and think about this. I guarantee you, every one of us knows multiple people that have said something along the lines of, well, I just bought 10,000 more primers. And you say, well, why did you need them? No, but I wanted them and I found them, so I bought them. Same with ammo. Well, I bought up a case of 9mm to go with your other 300,000 rounds in your garage. That's hoarding.
He's got it. Well, he's got it stacked where all the toilet paper is in the garage. I mean, it's like, come on, like you say, it's simple. People are willing to pay Starbucks $6 for a cup of coffee. So what does Starbucks charge for the coffee? $6.
Yep.
If they
Sounds
if
like
they
a conspiracy to me.
Yeah, it's a
but-
conspiracy. How come we don't all say that? It's as simple as that. If you are complaining about the cost of ammo and you're spending $2 for a 9mm bullet, you are part of the problem and you need to stop it. Now, something that will not happen though is the $9 or $10 box of 59mm practice rounds that we knew a year ago or so will never return. You mark my word, I promise you for a fact. Those days are over because of the cost of raw materials has gone up significantly since
Right.
those days.
Yep.
So, we can all pine for the days of 89-cent 22 long rifle, but those days are gone forever, ladies and gentlemen. And I hate to be a jerk about this, but you have to be realistic here. And if we said there was going to be a car shortage tomorrow, what would happen? Everyone would go out and buy every single car on all the used car lots, no matter what, and then people would complain there's a conspiracy.
Exactly.
And the car dealers would charge whatever they could get for the cars, and that's just what's happening. So
Exactly.
Another angle that I don't think people really consider is it takes a very small change in industry-wide demand to break the system. Any system, not just ammo and guns, anything, cars,
Good point.
or
Yeah.
Starbucks coffee. By definition, manufacturers run at pretty close to capacity. If they had all this excess capacity sitting around in terms of people and machines and components and materials, they'd be losing money because they wouldn't be selling all that stuff, right? So they operate, right up there near the line, as they should, as a profitable business. So when demand goes up 5% for a period of time, the system breaks for a while. Something's got to give. Prices have to change, go up, or they have to build and add more capacity and hire more people. But then what happens when things chill out? So it's. And we know,
that's
Brad,
it.
you made this point a few minutes ago that, depending on what numbers you believe, it's 5, 6, 7, 8 million new first-time gun owners are out there now. So, I mean, you did quick off the head math, but what? One box of ammo each, 20 rounds, 50 rounds, times that many, system breaks.
Well, I'll tell you how broken it is. And for those of you out there who think there's a conspiracy, I was talking to a couple of insider people I know in manufacturers, gun manufacturers, and they're struggling to get test ammunition. You
Yeah.
see, so it's impacting their ability to do test firing, and they're having to change some of the protocols. It's not affecting quality control or anything, but a gun that might have had 50 rounds to it before might be getting 20 rounds to it now or something. So if they
Right.
can't get ammunition, and they're literally at the top of the tier to receive ammunition, I mean, truly, manufacturers are the ones that get they get their ammo no matter what from their peer manufacturers in the industry. Probably followed by law enforcement and military, and then consumers, as it should be.
I was talking with a sight manufacturer the other day. I'm not going to say which one, but they still do the same amount of testing per site that they bring to market. But what they have done is they've stopped introducing new models because they can't get enough ammunition to do the development process on making sure those sights work. They stand up to recoil, point of aim, all that stuff. So literally, they have fewer products coming out the door because of the ammo shortage.
So
let's take a vote, though. Can we take a vote, the three of us? Is that who thinks it's a conspiracy?
Oh, sorry.
Well, I know, Tom. Well, yeah, right, yeah. Who thinks
My
it's
bad.
people buying all the ammo everywhere? Yeah, I think we have unanimous.
and
All right.
great arguments, great logic, and if you're still in the conspiracy theory camp, I'm sorry, but look in the mirror because it's your fault. And that's today's Inside Dope with the GunCranks.
Thank you. Yes.
Hey, Brent, have you ever wondered what retired life is like?
For Roy, well, I heard he's a trained chicken sniper.
Wait a minute.
Funny you should say that. I swear, we moved out here. We just live on some acreage south of Joplin, and when we moved here from Southern California, I thought I was going to be kind of, like it said, the gentleman farmer and stuff. Well, you know what? There isn't anything gentlemanly about most of it. It really isn't. I mean, if you like cow poop and, dog throw up and chickens in your
Chickens.
garage.
Chickens.
You have chickens?
Yes, chicken sniper.
Chickens. Can we talk
if we
about
must.
chickens? Can we talk about chickens for a minute? Yeah. Only let's talk about a certain subsect of chickens. Now, I like eggs. We probably all like eggs. And so we got chickens. We've had chickens for years. And it always works out well because I like to buy adult chickens. They're $6 or $8 a piece. You get hens. Actually, really funny. When you buy them, a lot of times they put them in a burlap bag and you carry them home in a burlap bag. First time I saw that, I went, wait, don't they have rights? And they said, well, you must be from California. And I said, I'm sorry, I apologize. So anyway, that's how I like to do it. But my wife, Susie, likes to raise them from chicks. And so you go to Tractor Supply or someplace, and you buy chicks, and they're $2 or $3 a piece, and they're little, chip, little chicks. And you can actually get them in the mail, too, which is a whole nother story.
Pause right there for a second. In the mail.
Yeah. Yeah, you can actually, because this whole chicken world, I'll tell you what, all you need to do is go to YouTube and do chicken, and there are some strange people out there.
That's saying something.
Stranger than I am. But you can actually order chickens, and they come to you via priority mail. And
Are there holes
but
in
I
the
will
box?
say, from personal experience. Oh yeah. And the mailman comes up and puts it on your front porch, and they're going cheep, 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 cheep. The only thing, the but part is that if you want 20 chickens, you better order 25. If you get my drift,
Now let me pause the conversation there.
Complete.
Obviously, Roy, we have Tom, a city slicker. I've not ordered chickens, but I've ordered quail through the mail. And they do. They come and they beep, beep,
Well,
beep, beep.
I rest my case. See? Yeah, beep, 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 beep. It's real funny. Anyway, so Susie got I think she got 10 chicks from Tractor Supply. And they are cute as bugs, and they love cheep, 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 and they're really cute and everything. And she likes to hold them and go coo, 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 coo. I have learned, though, you don't ever name your chickens, because if you name your chickens and then one gets eaten by a coyote or a hawk or something, it's like, oh, they got Goldie, so that's, you don't name what you do is you say, oh, that looks like they ate a brown one or something like that. So we learned that the hard way the first time. But so she got these 10, and we put them in the garage, and I built a little coop. Don't do that, by the way, because they get dust. The whole entire garage gets completely covered in dust. It's unbelievable what little chicks can do. So that's a bad idea. Ask me how I know. So as they got older, we're wondering if there are any roosters, because we don't really like roosters, because roosters are basically okay? That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. I know you need roosters to make little baby chickies, but we don't do that, so we don't need any roosters. And they are really jerks. So they're mean to the hens, and if you've ever seen a rooster mate with a hen, it's not love, okay? It looks like violent rape, if you get my drift. Yeah. And so the first time I saw that, I went, I don't think so. Anyway, so Susie's chickens get older, and one day I was pulling up to the chicken coop, and I hear, and even Scout and Amelie, the Australian shepherds, they stopped and looked at the coop, and then they looked up at me. And I said, uh-oh. So I went into the coop, and I looked around, and everybody was really quiet, And so I started going, I was trying to kind of egg him on a little bit, right? Nope, lip sealed. I think my reputation preceded me. But so this went on for a few days until finally I caught him. He was outside because I let him free range, and he's strutting his stuff all around. After a little while, they get an attitude, and you can spot the male. Yeah, they look like a boulevard pimp walking up and down the driveway. They do. They strut their stuff, and everything. So he goes, well, that was the last sound he made. So I thought, I was relieved. And I thought, oh, good, we got the rooster, and the hens will be happy. So, nope, few days later, another, right? Okay, 5 roosters later. We got 10 chicks. We ended up with 5 roosters. Right? I kid you not. It was unbelievable. So I told Susie, I said, you know what? Let's just buy adult hens from now on. I will say that the final one, I was so tired of it. I opened up the door, and he attacked one of the hens right as I opened up the coop door. There it was right there. And so I reached down, I grabbed him, and I threw him outside of the coop. The Easy Go was right there. So I ran over to the Easy Go, and I got my single barrel 410 shotgun, and me and Mr. Rooster had a conversation. So the funniest part, and I'll end this, the funniest part is after I blasted him, the hen that he had been trying to pull the shenanigans with came running across the yard and kicked, how they scratch, kicked leaves and dirts and rocks on him and gave him a bit of a what for, like, and then turned around and walked off. I have assumed godlike
with the girls,
status
as you
now
call
with
them.
the coop.
Yeah. Now I got to say, we
with
showed
the
our
girls.
producer Sherry this video during a group meeting. We're all on video all across the country, and we show this video, and she burst out laughing, bringing everything to a halt. And then she goes, and his little feet were just going.
Because I videoed the last one that I blasted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're like that. Okay. I know you're shocked. So, all right. Well, that's the true story, and I don't know. There's plenty more.
How do you know there's no
Thanks
more?
for
Maybe they just learned their
indulging me.
lesson.
Yeah, they're stealth now.
Well, there could be.
guaranteed.
Maybe there is one, but he's a smart rooster.
Wow.
It's like,
Truly the tales of the gentleman farmer.
Thank you.
Tom, are you clean?
I beg your pardon.
Moderate. I mean, not bad.
Well, okay, that's good.
I'm
Because on
still
today's
conscious
tips and
after
tricks,
that, so.
okay, on today's tips and tricks, we're going to talk about cleaning. Cleaning is one of those things. There's a lot of information and misinformation out there. And before we started doing the video here, we actually had a pretty good discussion of how we do it, how we don't do it, and how we used to do it. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But I think first off, we all, maybe especially the older guys, we were always told a good shooter cleans every single time you shoot. And now we're learning that might not necessarily be the way to do it. So, Roy, you made a good point that cleaning too much can actually hurt your firearms.
Think back to your days on the police department. When I was there, we had a Remington 870 shotgun station in every police car. And part of the protocol was that when you went out there, you had to take the gun apart, take the barrel off, do a function check, reassemble the gun, and then load it with your own ammunition that you carried with you. Which, I mean, makes sense because you don't know how, it was before. Except the only problem was, as these guns were subjected to this over the 2 or 3 year period, they all got loose, they all were getting worn, firing pins were breaking, because you used to put a penny on the bolt face and pull the trigger to leave a dent in the penny. Well, these guns were just loosey-goosey. It was really, you pick them up and they all are these big rattle traps. And so then it came out that said, don't do the check, just go out, make sure the gun's unloaded, load it with your ammunition, put it back in the car. So, and I think people do that. You don't wash your car every time you drive it. Okay, well, maybe there's some people who do, but most people don't.
Wait a minute, you're supposed to wash cars?
Yeah, if you're on TV, they do sometimes. But what I like to do is I clean my personal concealed carry guns fairly well after I shoot them, and then I shoot them again, like a magazine full, and then reload them and put them away, and that's how I carry it. So that way, as Tom, we were talking about this before, Tom said, it works. Because when you take them apart and then put them back together, you don't really know if they're going to work or not. So, but my other guns, my kind of fun guns, I don't clean them until they stop working. And I know that mortifies some people, but that's my feelings.
Well, Tom, you made a good point. Where do you clean your guns?
Well, I like to do it at the range. And again, there's a difference for me with carry and defense guns. That's kind of centric along those lines. So with those, if and when I can, if my range has the safe place to do that, and mine does, I like to clean it there. As Roy said a minute ago, you're taking it apart, you're putting it back together. Sure, at home you can dry fire it, and pretty sure everything should be fine, but there's nothing like firing a live round or a magazine full just to make sure everything's good, make sure you didn't leave any parts out, everything's back together as it should be. And you know what, a gun's just not going to get dirty with even a magazine full of shots coming out of it. So that's something I do like to do, and like Roy, I keep mine fairly clean. I don't clean it every time I shoot it, but definitely every couple of outings I will do that.
Mm-hmm. No, I know what you mean.
Makes sense.
Can I add one more thing? What I do with my concealed carry guns, because I often carry them in my pocket and stuff, and so they get these big dust buffaloes, and so I will frequently take them out and give them a blast with the spray air or something like that, and just kind of, because it serves to keep them cleaner longer. Because, and then every couple months or something, even if I haven't shot it, I take it out, give it a good wipe down, relube it. And, and while they are cleaning, something to think about is use a light grease on your concealed carry guns. Don't use oil because the grease tends to stay put and oil tends to migrate. So if you carry your gun, muzzle down all the time, when the next time you take it apart, look, and you'll see that like all the oil has kind of gone to the front of the slide rails and, all that kind of stuff. Brent, I interrupted.
You know what I like with carry guns is I like to use kind of a drying lube. Are you guys familiar with stuff like Gunzilla?
Yep.
Those kind of products there.
Yeah.
You put it on and it's wet, it's a liquid, but after it sets for a little bit, it dries, but it remains in place and it keeps doing its job, corrosion resistance and lubricant and all that stuff. So especially for carry guns, I kind of like those types of solutions too for that exact reason.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about move beyond carry guns, precision rifles. That's one of those where there are so many theories on what the right way to do it. And I was taught, you got to keep them surgically clean, but then you had to fire a fouling shot so that you had a better cold bore. So I think most folks are finding now that, maybe it doesn't have to be surgically clean. And like Roy said, the key is knowing when you need to clean.
Well, you were the sniper guy. So what did you? Well, can you say now if you did something different than policy? Or has the statute of limitations run out, or no? Share with us.
Yeah, I kind of had a rule that if we only fired 20 rounds, and there was times you'd go out to training and it was kind of scenario-based training, so you may lay there for 45 minutes and then take one shot.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the need that we had to break the gun down, change the torque settings on everything, even though, we had torque wrenches. That always worried me more than leaving the gun dirty. Now, if we were going out and we were going to fire 100 or 200 rounds over the course of a day and put a lot of lead in the air, yeah, we took it all down. But in the end, we always made sure we fired that fouling shot just to make sure, because it's not just the bore you're worried about. You're worried about the torque of the screws and knocking the scope off and et cetera, et cetera. So, but the other thing is excessive cleaning. The other thing, is with excessive cleaning, that's a real easy way to damage the bore, the throat, or the crown of your precision rifle. And so many guys don't have the right equipment. They, heaven help you if you were cleaning from the muzzle. A precision rifle, you got to clean from the back end, use a brush guide, and sometimes folks don't baby their weapon like they should.
I assigned a story one time to one of our writers, and he took 2 identical Savage bolt-action 308s. And in the day, we had plenty of ammunition. And so he got 3,000 rounds of 308 for each rifle. And over the next about 3 years, he and his cronies fired this ammunition through both rifles. And one rifle, they never cleaned. Literally, the rifle never was cleaned for 3,000 rounds. The other rifle got babied and coddled, and the bore was broken in the way everybody's supposed to do and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of this multi-year test, it ended up both rifles were still shooting essentially identically. And so I think if you're a bolt-action hunter and you've got a 243 and you shoot 15 or 20 rounds through the hunting season, zeroing and taking your shot at the game and stuff, is you don't need to be cleaning this gun every time you shoot a round or two. You're just going to wear it out, and you're going to wear yourself out, and your wife's going to yell at you because you're stinking up the kitchen because you're cleaning on the kitchen table and stuff. So everybody overthinks this, way more than they need to. For we, as a military, say civilian pukes.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say one thing controversial, that when it comes to AR platforms, carbines, I've seen it. I've had guys that know a lot more than me tell me this. The rule we run by is they'll run dirty, but they won't run dry. And I've personally tested guns. Don't have to clean them, but you got to make sure they're just gooky, dripping with oil. And it's amazing. They'll keep running even though there's black stuff shooting up into your face from oil residue, but that's the key. And hitting them with a little lube, hitting the bolt especially, during strings of fire, and they'll pretty much run all day.
Good point.
Hoppy's made a product, and I think they still sell it. I can't remember what it's called. It's a spray, and it's like
GunMedic.
GunMedic, yeah, that's it.
It's a miracle cure. For
and
the situation Brent just described.
It's exactly that. And if you don't have some, just grab some. And then, you can literally shoot a 4-day handgun class and never clean your gun. You just break it open and squirt this in. And so it's kind of like a cleaner lubricant, real lightweight stuff. And it keeps them running. And so, that's exactly what Brent was talking about. And that makes good sense. So, we should do another segment, I think, at some time and cover maybe this in more depth. What do you guys think, maybe, huh?
That sounds like a great idea. And there's going to be lots more trips and ticks. Let's try that again. Tips and tricks with the GunCranks.
I was going to call it bad advice, but no.
Okay, that'll work
we
too.
always just do good advice.